Hey YouTube, this is Vishal. So today we will talk about how you can leverage Spring AI to make an API call to OpenAI um, uh, API itself. So let me dive into this first part. The first part would be to create a API key with OpenAI platform first, and then the second would be to download or create the Spring application using some of the dependencies provided by Spring AI. All right. So the first part would be, you might want to go to Google and just type it in let's see, Open AI API, let's say, and then you log into the OpenAI platform. So this platform is mainly designed for developers like us. And once you're in this, go to there are playgrounds, there are you can even run your tests via batches and all. But for our video, we'll focus more on the API keys itself. So for the demo purpose, I have created the YouTube demo secret key. So you can do the similar things. All you have to do is create new key, give the name of your key and create the key here. One thing to note here is based on my trial and error while I was making this video, right? I came to know that if you don't have a paid version of API key, um, even though you are making a correct calls, it will get denied. So to avoid you that headache, even though you have the API keys created, make sure that you are at least paying a minimum amount of credit, right? So to add a credit, you could go to uses, and under cost, you would see that uh, an option to add. Just click on increase limit, and that should take you to the billing part where you can add the balance, right? So the minimum balance it requires is $7. So with $7, you can, I believe you can make over 1,000 calls, 1,000 API calls. I'm not sure why they changed it, that they need a minimum amount of balance at least on their account on the API platform. But I paid $7 minimum balance credit, so I think I made like 20 API calls before making this video. So that it only took like 1 cent off. Just a heads up there. It is straightforward, but by the end of the day, it looks like they need some form of minimum amount. And then the second thing would be that I ran into was, so I have two Gmail accounts, right? And I have one phone number set between those two accounts, and those two accounts use OpenAI. So um, that if you were to use that same phone number and create the API key, the request will also get denied. So the best option would be either you delete the API, delete the phone number associated with that OpenAI platform from that or the Gmail, and then just use this one, or find a different phone number, somebody from your family, have them sign in and set up your API key using that phone number. While I was creating this API key, OpenAI did ask me for the phone number, and that's how I set up my key. All right, so this is pretty straightforward. Now the next thing we would do is we will go to Spring Initializer, and we will we'll take a help from Spring Initializer and create the project there itself. Okay, let me go to Spring Initializer. All right, so I will be using Maven to build my project. This is fine. Version 3.2.5. We can keep this as is. We could say demo project with Spring Boot to connect to OpenAI platform. And yeah, I like to have 21 on my end, but it should work with 17, 22, and I believe it should work with version 11 as well. But if you were to work on version 11, make sure to change the Spring Boot version. All right, so now back to dependencies, right? So we will only you need two dependencies on for this demo actually. So we will be making a RESTful call. So obviously we will need a Spring Web dependency. And the second one would be just type in OpenAI, right? And then make sure to select the OpenAI, not the Azure one. That way we can make a call to ChatGPT. Alrighty, so you'll hit generate, and that should generate the project for you. So on my end, locally, I have this already downloaded, and also the first thing we would do after we have this project built locally um, would be to add this property. Let me maximize it. So Spring AI, Spring.ai.openai.api-key would be the key that you would need to store the value of the API key here itself. Um, so this is the paid version of API key that I'm using. I will be removing this API key once I'm done with this video, right? Just for the security reason, and I don't want to pay, thousands of dollars if somebody were to use this, make an API call. Obviously, it wouldn't go 1,000 because the balance itself is 699, right? Um, and so once you have this is all you need in properties file. So the next thing you would do um, is go into the um, POM file and see. Okay, sorry, my system just froze somehow. Okay, back to okay. So the first thing let's do is let's create a RESTful class. So let's name it Chat GPT API controller. Chat GPT API controller. Uh, Chat GPT controller. Okay, and let's annotate this class with the REST controller. And so I went through the documentation, and all we need is a client, chat client from um, Spring AI. Let's do a constructor injection actually. So let's make it a final, and we'll let the IntelliJ do its thing. All right, so let's auto wire it. Okay. All right, so we will send a request in string and receive the string back itself. So let's name it as get chat GPT response, and this would take some query from us since we are returning string as a response. We would now use chat GPT, and we have several options. If you are more into prompt engineering, you could go with the prompt. The best way, if you are implementing this in some enterprise level, I would go with prompt. But for the demo and for simplicity's sake, let's go and just use the second, right? The second one that takes the string. So let's put it in as query, and it should return the response back. And let's see, now this would be get mapping. All right, and request param would be this one. Let's name the default would be empty, but let's say, message here. And let's see. Da, 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 da. Looks good, looks good. And this should do it. All right, so let me, one thing, right? So um, we will need a path for Spring to know what to call. So API, let's say chat uh, dash GPT dash query. All right, perfect. Okay, let me run this now. Let's make sure this application starts first. Okay, we are looking good. Okay, now, so I am using Postman for the demo. So let's see what I have. OpenAI, sorry, API, ChatGPT, query. Okay, paste this one right here. Okay, so let's ask this question. Just a second, let me double check. So I have request param and then we'll give it the value as message. Okay. All right, this should make a call. So localhost, ChatGPT. Can you tell me when Java programming language first came? All right, let's send this request now. And let's see. There you go. Java programming language was first introduced by Sun Microsystems in May 1995. All right, so let's try with Rust. Let's type it in Rust. Can you tell me when Rust programming language first came? Let's see what ChatGPT says. Okay, perfect. And let's put some dummy non-existing program. Let's say, can you tell when, let's say, Do programming language first came? Oh, there is a Do programming language. Didn't know that. Interesting. Well, let's try Pillow. Pillow programming language. Wow, what? Is there a programming language for every name? What? Ah, wow, this is crazy. Um, let's put some clothes, let's say. I would be surprised. Oh well. All right. Anyway, as you see, right, we get the response back from the OpenAI platform itself. Now, after you make this call, if you are curious to see, you know, where you at, making those API calls, I would go to uses. It's not. Uh, I don't think it refreshes on its own, but let me quickly refresh and see if it captures the changes, the request that I've done. Let's go back to activity and okay, I see. Yeah, as you can see right here that I made 4 API requests today. Correct. This looks right. But yeah, this is there to it with the OpenAI integration. I highly recommend you guys to actually go and also go through the documentation if you want to implement even more advanced features of OpenAI. Um, I also did the same thing here. I went through the documentation and I chose the simplest one for the demo purpose. Um, yeah. So So, for the upcoming videos, I will be focusing on the other API models. For today, we called the OpenAI. On upcoming videos, I'll be doing one of these, and then how to make an API call from Spring Boot. And once again, thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. Please do make sure you subscribe to this channel. That way, it encourages me to make more videos like this. And once again, thank you. Bye.